Jiro here for Umbra Games with a review of Kane and Lynch 2 Dog Days, played on Xbox 360, but also available on PC and PlayStation 3. Dog Days is the 2010 sequel to 2007's Kane and Lynch Dead Men, third-person shooters developed by IO Interactive and published by Eidos, I guess the latter is Square Enix after the buyout. These adventures follow two convicts who escaped from death row in the first game, went crazy on a shoot-'em-up spree, and tried to settle back into somewhat quieter life. Dog Days takes place in Shanghai, where the duo attempt the proverbial one big last score to retire from criminal activity entirely, but it very quickly falls apart when the two catch the daughter of one of Shanghai's most powerful crime lords in the line of fire. You then spend the next 5 hours navigating through various set pieces, fighting wave after wave of enemies in the forms of thugs, cops, and military, as Kane and Lynch try and catch a plane to escape the country. Now, Kane and Lynch 2 aimed for this realistic, gritty feel through its development, and by default, the game's camera shakes as though it's found footage taped by an undisclosed party that's following your character around. The game can get a little violent at times, more specifically through its cutscenes, but when you get a good headshot, the camera through which you're viewing the game will pixelize the face of the target, like they do on the news or something, providing a surprisingly fun, novel effect. Now, I'm not sure if the developers further attempted realism by making it difficult to actually hit targets with your firearms, though. The duo's firepower is obtained from downed enemies, so your only selection comes from what you find on the ground. The reticles are actually quite big, so even if you feel pretty centered on a target, a lot of times you'll waste a lot of ammo all around them. When you do make hits, small white X's will appear on the enemy with no other visible signs of damage, like stun or tripping. Now, I like to look objectively at game mechanics and really getting into the core of what makes a game good or bad. This game helped me realize that one of the crucial parts of a good shooting game is the feedback you receive from hits on your target. Taking out enemies was completely unsatisfying in this game relative to other titles. Another interesting facet of this game that I can't tell if it's intentional or just laziness is the enemy AI. Most game scenarios have you enter a room and enemies will pour out from a door or other unseen entry point. They don't act like enemies in normal games, though, where they try to take cover and get a good safe line of sight, popping out of cover to take a few shots here and there. In fact, we'd often find them rushing us, and while this did effectively end Velcro and I quite often, it didn't seem calculated. On medium difficulty, we could put quite a few shots into an approaching enemy, and they'd press on too, while one close-up shot from them would put us on the ground. Now, if you take near-death damage, you have the ability to fire some from the ground and press A to jump back up. Beyond that, it requires your partner, AI or co-op human, to reach you and revive you while you mash the X button to extend your countdown bar for as long as possible. Now, you can find some explosive items in the environment, and even toss some fire extinguishers or gas tanks in some places and detonate them with a shot. This will even give you some frame rate drop slowdown, which I'm sure was there for added effect. A few of the stages have Kane and Lynch taking diverted paths and covering each other from a distance, but with the previously mentioned sometimes spastic AI and resulting deaths, it honestly just added frustration with the inability to revive each other while on those different paths. Now, this game was free with Xbox Games with Gold in July of 2017. I did check the database of my personal collection and saw that I purchased it for $5 at some point, and it's hard to make a case for it really being worth any more than that. With a dizzying found footage cam that has to be immediately disabled, unsatisfying target feedback on shots, annoying wasteful shot hit detection, a ridiculous shallow duo against an army story, no depth from challenges or any types of goals other than just make it to the end, with characters we had a hard time finding any sort of compassion or thought for, there's little here with Kane and Lynch 2 to recommend. There are tons of better co-op shooters out there to play. Rated as a third-person shooter, Kane and Lynch 2 Dog Days hits a 15 out of 100 on a true 1 to 100 scale, with 50 being an average game. This is Jiro for Umbra Games. Thanks for watching. My genuine thanks goes to Velcro for going through some of these titles with me, as we've had a fairly rough year with games we've played together, but you appreciate the good more by playing through the bad, right? Subscribe to keep up with those finishes, or follow me on Twitter @Umbra Games.